Setting anger and frustration aside, I'm going to go ahead with this video and not title it yet. But when you have anger and frustration, is there a reason for it? People say, don't complain. Well, if you don't complain about fentanyl, the government letting fentanyl cross our borders, then they're just going to let it keep happening. So you are supposed to complain about some things, right? You shouldn't complain about things you can fix yourself. But you got all these people, I don't know, maybe college graduates, and that's part of my subject. It's part of my frustration. I am setting anger aside. It's one of those days I'm angry, frustrated, and I got a lot of haters, and I want to let my haters know it's starting to take a turn, and I'm starting to hate them back. I'm a Christian. I'm not supposed to hate anybody. Well, I'm sure battling with anger. I sure want to throw everything in their face. There's people that's judged me my whole life. They'll say, don't talk about Jesus. This is one group of people that angers me. I think I should talk about this. I think it's a worthy discussion. I think it's a worthy knowledge to have. There's people that tell me not to talk about Jesus until I'm perfect. You got to be better. Well, that's never going to happen. I'm never going to be perfect, and I'm never going to be as perfect as you, especially because, first of all, it might be because you were a successful college student or whatever. I didn't even want to go to college. I thought going to college was dumb. I mean, if you're going to college to get money, most people, here's why, by the way, I have maybe one friend in college that I still have, and probably my biggest haters are people I met in college. I don't know. I got a lot of haters, different places. But it seems that most of my haters are in college from people I met in college because I didn't turn out rich. I may never turn out rich. And I don't care. I went to college because I didn't want to go to college. But people get mad at me for saying I didn't want to go to college. They're saying, well, why didn't you pursue a degree that taught you how to build houses in college? I wanted to build houses, not go to college. And if I went to college, I wanted to pay for it a little at a time and figure out what I should do. To this day, I wouldn't know what I should have majored in. I'm 51 now. I went to college at age 17, right? But when I went to college, my culture expected me to go to college. It's not just my family. That the culture did. And I didn't put up much argument against it, but I sure didn't want to go. I thought it was dumb. You're going to college to make money. But so people in college, a lot of them that went, they went there to think they're going to make money. And now they think I'm dumb, and I'm not. I didn't do good on the SATs. I had to take the SATs 3 times to make the grade high enough to be on the track team, to try to be on the track team. I guess I made the track team. I was on and off it. But mostly I pursued trumpet and music. I put a ton of time into trumpet, and I was a better athlete in hindsight, but so I was dumb in that way, right? But I was not, but I failed the English part of the SAT, which I never had trouble with in school, so I still can't figure it out. I felt when I took the test, I felt pretty good about it. I don't know how I failed the English part. I did okay on the math, right? If it wasn't for the math, I would have failed the whole test, right? But now I'm a writer. But not because I'm great with punctuation. Because I'm a thinker. I'm a person that if I didn't have people holding me up all my life from doing work, same people that tell me I don't work enough, but I'm telling you, I would have probably written the most in world history quotes, just short quotes. Pithy quotes. I would have had the most books of pithy quotes in world history, possibly. And if I were not held up by a lot of people, just holding me up from working. I won't explain that. But, so college, though, to me was dumb, and it's because you're going to school to make money, and you're going to debt. Why don't you just start making money and start owning things? There's a good way to look at college. You are renting. You're paying for rent at college and getting a degree. So you're renting, which I think is a waste of money to rent money. If I was to, really put things into real perspective, reality, right? But I'm not saying college is bad for everybody. If you are that genius or whatever and you know what you want, that's fine. But why do you hate me? Why do you hate me? Why does everybody hate me? Besides, okay, some people say I'm dumb because I've tried drugs, and that I'm. That's why you can't talk straight and you can't string a sentence together. I've had people tell me that, right? And I'm like, I was always like that, right? And I've never been an addict, by the way. I've sampled stuff here and there quite often, and there's a lot of people on Facebook that probably don't talk to me because of this. And these are Republicans or libertarians. And by the way, they don't support Fox News and other people who are on their side because they disagree with something. Well, guess what? If you want, you better start supporting Fox News and Newsmax and anybody who supports your candidate, Trump. At this point, it's Trump. But the point is, you want to get Biden out of office. You want to get the Democrat regime, the new Democrat regime, which is basically a bunch of killers. You want to get him out of office. So the fact that you like Trump doesn't make you a Christian, by the way. I only wanted this to be 10 minutes, but I don't know. It might go over that. It's at 6 already. So this is addressing something that's got on my nerves with people in social media, that they support some of the same stuff as me, but they've never liked any of my posts. I'll like a person's post just to be nice sometimes, even if it's not such a great post. Just to show them, well, their opinion matters. I'll do that, right? But some of these folks, I'm talking about folks that I know. I'm not going to name some people, but they're people from Texas and different places who are involved in politics and seem to be on the good side of stuff, and maybe lean libertarian, and they may pick on people a little bit too much about food stamps and things like that. Well, it's really a good system. It's a grace system. Sure, we should talk about abuse, but really you need to. There's better things to pick on, like fentanyl, and there's a lot of psychological warfare that I think a lot of people who stand for general good stuff, they fall for psychological warfare tricks and bash a lot of people with mental illness and things like that, and they think that the only work there is somebody making $1. That's the only thing that counts as work. There's a lot of people that do work and charity work and don't get paid, and then they get accused of not working or whatever. There's people who get those kind of benefits that do those things, but that's not the people that get on my nerves the most. By the way, it's I've been hated for years by people I grew up with, and so my anger's at a certain level of high at this point, because I'm tired of people stealing my time and then never won't refuse to have a conversation with me for 30 years. They make up stuff about me that's not true for 30 years. And there's bad stuff about me, but the stuff they talk about isn't true. And that gets them under. But, so I'm not going to wait till I'm perfect to talk about Jesus. That's never going to happen. When I die, and I never talked about Jesus because I did what y'all said, because I never turned out to be perfect. Well, I'm going to try to do one more point within 1 minute instead of stretching this out and explaining everything. I got 1 minute. If I do it at 10, I might not do it, but I might. I just forgot it. But no, here I am. The college disagreement, where I'm different from people in college. And I'm not saying everybody's went to college and knew what they wanted. They knew they went there to get money. So when I went to college, I chose to choose a major to find my hidden talent. I didn't go there for money. I didn't want to go there. You took me away from money by putting me in college. I was going to build houses. I would have been rich if I didn't get injured or something, right? Back in the early 90s, you would have been rich if you went out into building houses. You would have built your own house, built your family a house. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to build homeless people a house back when I was 16, 17. So in college, I tried to be a musician and find hidden talents and all that. And I polished those things a little bit, but I didn't find a super hidden talent. I was what I was. If anything, in hindsight, I found out I was a better athlete, but it was too late. So college students, they don't like me, a lot of them, because they were there. They knew what they were there for. And I'm going to go over 10 minutes here, but maybe not much more. I wanted to be able to put this on TikTok, which is only 10 minutes, but time's out for that. So I don't know where else I can post it when it goes over 10 minutes. But, and I wanted to do this instead of doing live. But it's, in a sense, I wanted to do live and just ramble. But, so there's a lot of frustrations coming at me at this moment. And it has to do with people trying to take me off what I think valuable work is. People complaining, then lying and acting like I don't help people, or like I'm selfish for doing the kind of works I do, or all that kind of stuff. And they don't know me. They've never spoken to me. People who have, even since college times, acted like I faked an injury in college. No, I got injured, and they call me lazy. I got injured from working too hard. I didn't. It was too hard. Now it's true I didn't do it in the summer, and I didn't understand building a base for track and field. But I ruined my foot in college, running cross country. After doing 0 miles in the summer, I ran 50 miles a week, and I was complaining about something wrong with my foot. And I had mentors, peers running with me on the distance days, and I'm not a distance runner. And they say, "Oh, you're just being a wimp." I complained about my foot. You're just a sprinter, and so I kept running it. I ran it into the ground, and it was something called plantar fasciitis, which I didn't know much about. But I ran on it and ran on it and ran on it until I ruined the foot. And I set some records, though, that I learned in the hard way. Building a base and doing your distance running helps tremendously, because I was sitting out of practice for a couple of weeks. And already, and then, but when we switched to the track, and it was only a month and a half. I only trained for a month and a half cross country. First time I ever did it. And I went to the track workouts, and I'm setting records. I stand still today, 30 years. I'm the third fastest, maybe fourth by now. I don't know. But the last I heard, I was the third fastest in the history of the school. My brother had a brother that's time was faster than mine, but he only beat me after I was sitting out 2 weeks. But, and then an Olympian, like 20 years later, passed my time, and it's second to my brother's time. And that's in what you call kind of an Ironman. They call it Fun Day Monday, but it's an Ironman workout that we do on Mondays. And you do 3 back-to-back races. So the time doesn't sound super fast, the records we set, but when you consider they're back-to-back with 20-minute rest, which sounds like a lot, but it's not. On a half mile, 20-minute rest, half mile, 20-minute rest, 600 meters, 20 minutes. Then you do the 400. Or the 1,000 meters, 20-minute rest, then the half mile, 800 meters, then 20-minute rest. Then it seems like 5 minutes, right? But and you're back to the line. You haven't caught your breath all the way. You might have caught your breath, but you go back to the line. So I set a record on that kind of thing, and that's with the messed up foot, sitting out injured. So I know what my potential was, and it's frustrating to me. That's a frustrating thing. I wish I knew how to train better. Wished I had listened to my foot injury and sat out at the right time instead of ruining it. And then could have come back the next year and understood how fast the distance running makes me. And I should have stopped working hard manual labor jobs in the summer. So I was working 6 days a week, 10-hour days, standing on concrete all day in the summertime with 2 10-minute breaks. No sitting down, 30-minute lunch break. I mean, you sit down at the break, but that's it. 6 days a week. So I didn't run my miles. I should have worked at Foot Locker or something and ran my miles. And then I might have been, that's something I wished I would have redo it and maybe do it differently. On the other hand, I like one of the jobs I had. I put thousands of children in school buses. I built school buses, right? So, assembly line, building school buses. And I would do sometimes parts of a bus. Some summers, I would be doing between 1,000 and 2,000 parts per day. Bumpers, and different things. Now, when I pulled the bus out of the oven from being painted, you didn't do that much. You only did, I might have done 20 buses a day, I'm guessing. I don't know. I might be about to get interrupted here. But yeah, it's not true that I was lazy, but I did spread myself out and didn't know what I wanted in college. I didn't really want to go to college. So, you know, I'm not, it probably feels to me like more people hate me than not, because I'm a person who's been through some torture, technically. And I won't even go into that, because if I tell you what my issues were, I just get more hate for it. But I haven't been able to travel and visit people that I would have liked to visit, and to keep up friendship. But, nobody's done that. All these successful people who are capable of doing that, they didn't choose to visit me, right? But so, and I've had people in my past complain that I don't visit. Why don't you visit more? And those same people never visit you. And so that's people in family. That's family. That's not college students, but the cousins and things. But so it's funny though. There's a lot of people in life, and this is just in general, who, if you're not 100% in with them, you're 100% out. And so that's unfortunate that, I guess you could call them control freaks, that people can't be friends with you unless they're a control freak, And so my lifestyle is, I do believe in Jesus. And so I have tried to make friends in all kinds of places, not just make friends, but communicate with people. And that exposed me to various temptations and things too, a lot of times. But I refuse to be like the churches I've grew up in, and the churches and the college. I went to Christian college. I refuse to be like that culture. I do. I did it back then. I didn't refuse on purpose. Now I'm refusing it on purpose, right? But you can't talk to this person. They're like, you can't talk to this person. You can't talk to that person. They know who's good and who's bad and all this stuff, supposedly. And maybe people do. Maybe I'm supposed to have a better vision of that. But I believe in talking to anybody and everybody. And I'm going to continue being that way. And they're not going to, and if I'm going to be that way, they don't want to have anything to do with me, right? Bobby's going to talk to whoever he wants to talk to. And yeah, I'm going to keep doing that. And I'm going to keep having zero friends for doing that, right? Fine with me. But every now and then it gets on my nerves, right? So I guess I kind of explained some things, but so I'm not angry, but these are real issues that should be explained. I should have a right to do that. I believe that I don't believe our do I believe Christian colleges create Christian students or have Christian students? I don't know. I don't know if I've met any real Christians in a Christian college. When I went from going to a Christian college in 30 years ago, 33 years ago. I won't add that up right now. Could be 34. 34 years ago. Am I 51? So 34 years ago. I was 17 when I went, and I'm 51. So when I first went, it was 34 years ago. Have I met any Christians? I can't say 100% almost anybody's a Christian. But let me assess Billy Graham, for instance. The one that we all believe is a Christian, right? I could critique him and find one thing to say, is he a Christian or not? When he says you have to change, there's going to be a change in your personality when you become a Christian and stuff. He's right. I'm not saying he's wrong about that. You're going to have a change and a desire for righteousness. But that's not going to be obvious to everybody else. And that change shouldn't necessarily be just to change and do according to how the church wants you to be, right? But it is good to start in churches. I'm not, what's the best I may do a video on this, but what's the best organization in the world? It might be the church. And I do remember this is my old phone I'm doing. If I do something like 22 minutes, it won't upload. So I'll have to cut it short. But anyway, I'm just rambling about some stuff, but I'm going to cut this short because it may not upload. And certainly want to finish a couple of points real quick if I can. But the church might be the best organization there is. So the fact that I disagree with how today's church sabotages people or handcuffs people, the way it handcuffs people, and all that. I don't like all those things, but I did grow up around the political scene of the church. So had families on staff in church and stuff like that. So it made it harder for me to, like, I've let down, I've denied being friends with a lot of people myself, or having conversations and relationships with people, just to, you know, to keep personal lives out of the church staffs and all that kind of stuff, I guess, just keep everything separated. And so people that are in church, it is a fact, and it is true, and it is good, actually, that they separate themselves. They do have to live to a higher standard in some ways, as far as just not being involved with people and common issues, common social issues. And so they're expected to do that. And I can understand that, respect it, but that's not for me. But the problem is, I've grown up around and been around people who need those kind of protections, and so and people want me to be in that same mold, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say I wouldn't have ever done it, but the way my life turned out is I had been years ago was assaulted. And it kind of, I'm like, I had that reputation. Everybody hated me for keeping that good reputation, actually. People, I won't say everybody, some people liked the fact that I kept the good reputation. But I was a person who kept the pretty close to perfect reputation, except for one or two things I snuck and got away with. But I'm not glad I did that. I'm not going to say what. But before I was assaulted, once I was assaulted, I'm like, that just stole my reputation. It was taken from me. It wasn't my fault. Now everybody wants to say, oh, that's your fault. Well, I'm not going to talk about the assault or anything like that. It was a sexual assault on me. But at that point, I realized, okay, I don't fit into the mold of the church anymore. And not only that, I was assaulted by people in the drug cartel. All right, and I knew nothing about all that stuff, but I was assaulted by people, and that opened my eyes to the segregated side of society. And that's something I'm going to battle. I think we've got to learn to love our neighbors across both lines. And I don't agree with the college and the business people and all these people that keep promoting the segregation and keep lying about medicine and it's not what you put in your body, it's what comes out of your heart. It's people are evil. Medicine is just a tool. You can use it, misuse it, but when you poison it, when you're letting it be in hands that poison people, you're letting them steal from people and all that kind of stuff. The stealing, the worst part about the whole business is people are allowed to steal. People are allowed to hurt folks, and they're allowed to mix medicines that people aren't aware of. It's like a mousetrap. It's a mousetrap, and it's a scam. That's a scam. It's purposeful mousetrap. And I mean, because I'm honest about this stuff, about the real problems, like, why should kids stay away from drugs? Because they rob you out there. They'll kill you. It's not the drugs, it's the people. We always talk about the drugs. The people will kill you before the drugs do. The dealers and everybody else. So, and it's over money or over paranoia, over scared of getting caught. So the laws put people in those predicaments, though. It's bad laws. It is predatory laws. But the church, the college students, all these ignorant people, they support it. They support the drug cartels. Anyway, I got to go because of this thing. So there's a lot of stuff, but that's, of course, people aren't going to like me for that subject. Nobody cares enough. They're inconsiderate. They're just had everybody, but just stay away from it. Just stay away from it. Well, yeah, stay away from it. But quit sabotaging the solutions to get that help that stay in business like that, to help that business thrive. That's the same business that's bringing fentanyl across the borders. And you've supported it because you say, we shouldn't even talk about it. Anyway, I'm going to go. And I didn't say what I wanted. I can't believe 24 minutes is gone. And I got to go. I don't know if this will even download.